afternoon. I am Lila Pablo-Chung from the Faces National Board. Today we are bringing to you our culture series of Cooking with the Boss Ladies. Our two moderators today are Judy Villacruz-Brandt and Jan Oria. Judy, you want to introduce our guest today?
Sure will. Thank you, Lila. And as Lila Pablo-Chung was mentioning, this is actually going to be our interview with the Boss Lady Part 3. As you may have remembered in the past, we've interviewed Alyssa Moore along with Ellen Valencia, and then we've also had our the Boss Lady interview with Alyssa Moore as well as with Dalena Benavente. So we had such a good feedback with everybody saying how much they enjoyed that last interview, that this time we're going to do something a little bit different. And we're going to do something called Cooking with the Boss Ladies. So none other than Dalena Benavente. She is a renowned chef and author for Asian Girl in a Southern World. She's going to be doing one of her new recipes for us. But before I go into talking about all the great things that Dalena has been doing since our last interview, I wanted to introduce Jan Jarkey, who's going to speak about our boss lady, Alyssa Moore.
Hi, everybody. It's Jan. So I have the esteemed pleasure to introduce Alyssa. If you guys did not see our past ones, we have them on YouTube, on Faces SoCal or Faces ERG for YouTube. So we'll include that later. But such a great interview between these two wonderful, beautiful Filipino ladies. And we definitely wanted to celebrate Philippine History Month, which is in October. So what better way than highlighting these two wonderful ladies and also, you know, highlighting food. That's one of the things that the Filipino culture does. So exciting that we have these two ladies. So Alyssa, I mean, I love her. I met her through Faces. She started as a store manager, wireless, for AT&T in 2001. I'm like, it's 2020. I can't believe it. This is so amazing. Like all the great things she has done. She's held various positions, promoted, and she's gotten awards like the Goldie Award through the Mobility and Entertainment Award, and then also President's Club Engagement Excellence Award, 11-time Winner Summit Award. So I mean, she is the epitome of leading from the front. I met her through Faces. She was our president. She got promoted, and now she's VPGM and moved to the Southwest. But, you know, we always lean on her, and I always depend on her for doing great things like this. And she met with Dalena, and now we get to cook with Dalena, so it's so exciting. So thank you so much, Alyssa. And Judy, if you want to introduce Dalena, can't wait to hear all the great things she's up to.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Dalena Benavente is a renowned chef who grew up in the South, the dirty South. She actually grew up in Obion County, Tennessee, and I hope I said that right. Right, Dalena? Obion? Is that right?
Obion, but that's pretty, you did really well. Obion.
Obion, which is 3 hours west of Memphis, Tennessee. And so growing up in a racially charged environment, being Filipino-American, and at that she's mestiza, which means Filipino and Caucasian, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's just kind of been a little bit of diversity that she's got, not a little bit, a lot of diversity and different type of prejudice that she had to go through in the South. And so just getting to know her and then how positive she is mind-blowing to all of us. And so she's actually a renowned chef, like I mentioned, and she's the author of Asian Girl in a Southern World. This is not your mother's cookbook. So if you have the opportunity or you have not read it yet, please go to Amazon and download it on Kindle or purchase it on Amazon Prime. It's such a great read, super easy. And so my hope is that you'll probably be giving us one of your recipes from there, or are you doing something totally different for this specific demonstration? What are you doing today?
So, first of all, thank you all so much for having me. I have been looking forward to this for a very long time, ever since we finished the first interview that we did. And I just wanted to take time to say that I have fallen in love with all of y'all. I talk about y'all probably more than you realize. And I'm just so glad that we're able to reunite and do something together again. So whenever I was approached this time, we were given some parameters, right? We wanted to keep it fall, Halloween, but we also didn't want to be dangerous in carrying our phones and our cameras back and forth from our camera to our hot stove where we might be frying or doing anything like that. I also didn't want to ask anybody to do any prep cook before today, which means we are limited to doing recipes that are pretty much just assembly oriented through opening up packages or grabbing fresh produce, seasoning them, putting them together. So we're going to be doing two different things today. And I gave them sort of fun Halloween names since that's what we're going to be doing. And also when you guys said do something like Halloween, my mind always goes obviously like pumpkin, orange, and it also goes to kids, right? So I tried to make it kind of fun and a little spooky and just kind of festive for the holidays. So that's how I came up with these two recipes. So the first one, I can't remember exactly what did I call it. I called it a crab dragon po' boy, I think. Crab dragon instant po' boy. And it's going to involve imitation crab. We're going to season it up. We're going to put it in a really good hoagie roll. We're going to add some seasonings and some spices. And then we're going to show you what's going to make it a dragon, what that part comes in. And then the other thing is called brains and worms, and it's super scary and creepy and yucky for kids, and it's delicious. So that's what we're going to do.
I'm ready.
Delicious.
I am
Are you
really
ready,
excited. Yeah, Dalena, I have been looking forward to this day since we had our last interview. We were trying to find the right time, and the time is now. I've got my ingredients here ready to go, and I am ready to make that sandwich with you and that spooky dessert.
Yay! Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. I saw your beautiful prep station over there, and I was like, wait a minute. This lady's trying to steal my thunder.
I knew I was going to be with you today, so I was trying to impress you by looking somewhat prepared. So I've got everything organized, and I'll be following your lead. So this is going to be really good.
Perfect. Well, consider myself impressed. So the first thing we're going to do something a little out of order. We're going to start with the sandwich, but with the dessert, we need to drain some crushed pineapple. And a really good thing for us to do is drain that crushed pineapple and let it be draining while we're making the sandwich, so when it comes time for the dessert, it's already done. So Alyssa, let me ask you, have you already drained yours or no?
I have not.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
We can open up the cans, and if you do not have a colander and bowl set up, that's totally okay. I'm going to show you what to do, okay?
Okay.
Colander bowl, we're just putting this in here. Nothing complicated, right? That's just going to sit while we do the rest of the stuff, right? So I'm going to give that a little, I'll show you. I just give it like a little shake to kind of get it going. This is not hard stuff. This is easy stuff. Right?
Is that crushed pineapples? What kind of pineapple?
It is. Crushed pineapple. Yep. So I just really quick wanted to show y'all a little trick that I do. So this is an old Rachel Ray trick from her 30-minute meals from about 15 years ago. But you can get a bowl and just put a bag in it. And when you're working on your counter, it prevents you from having to go into a trash can over and over and over, and it makes cleanup really easy. Yeah. So we put that in there. We put that in there. Okay, so we have our pineapple draining. We're going to start with the crab, Alyssa. So are you ready to use your knife skills? Okay.
I am.
So we have a package of imitation crab, and I have the 24-ounce package. Can y'all see me and hear me okay? Is everything okay?
I can see you.
Okay, great. So, Alyssa, we're just going to open this up however you want to get into it, and we're just going to start chopping this up to whatever pieces you want for your sandwich. So there's no codified way to do this. This is country cooking. This is whatever makes you happy. So if you like it super small, you do it super small. If you want yours a little chunky, you make it chunky, girl.
All right, here we go.
That's what we do. So we're just going to take this out and start chopping.
So, Dalena,
I figured we could
chat while we cut. right? This will be a good way to kind of have some dialogue, just like we would if we were together.
Yes.
And so I know we're making special dishes today, but with it being October, with October being Fil-Am Month, we love celebrating Fil-Am History Month and having fun, right? And so what has been your go-to Filipino dish this month?
So I love that you asked that, because I had one of my friends, Marie, who is not Filipino, who hosts a monthly dinner party every month for her church group. And she saw on my Instagram that it was Filipino American History Month. And she said, what if I make a Filipino meal and introduce people to Filipino food? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I had so much fun helping her with that project. I'm going to post about it in my Instagram probably in the next couple of days. But we went over just my story and how I first broke into the cooking world. And people always request afrittata. And I think it's because, yeah, do you eat that one very much, Alyssa?
I do. I love afrittata. It's so good.
I love it too. And when I was growing up, I think maybe I told you guys this last time, we lived like 10, 12 miles from the closest grocery store. Yeah. And my mom didn't drive. So we had to really work hard to figure out how to make recipes. And my mom started making afrittata with spaghetti sauce instead of like fresh tomatoes or canned tomatoes, because we just didn't have it. And if you think about it, canned spaghetti sauce is just seasoned tomato, right? That's all it is. Mm-hmm. So she would make afrittata with spaghetti sauce, and I got asked to be in the New Filipino Kitchen, which is that book that I was in with the worldwide Filipino chefs, and the lead person in that book is Christetta Comerford, who was President Obama's executive White House chef. I didn't know he chose a Filipino lady. He did. And the Epic Times ended up finding my recipe and running with it. So we have been, I can't get away from afrittata, no matter what I do. But it's fine because I love it too. So it's been afrittata. And I've been able to share our culture with people who are not Filipino. And I think afrittata is like a good gateway entree too, because people are familiar with all of the ingredients. The chicken, the tomatoes, potatoes, if you do the peas. It's an easy Filipino dish for people who aren't used to Filipino recipes. You've got that done, and we'll put it in a bowl, a mixing bowl.
Okay. Yeah, afrittata is a great beginner meal for folks that are interested in trying Filipino meals. That is one of the dishes that is my mom's specialty, and I love it.
I love it too.
My crab is ready to go.
Perfect. So you've got it in a bowl, right?
Yes.
There you go. Looking good, girl.
There we go.
All right, let's see the bowl. Lift up the bowl. Let's see what we got.
Oh, yeah.
See?
I picked a clear bowl specifically.
Look at Alyssa's. Look at Alyssa's. Oh,
yes,
right.
Okay, so what we're going to do now for the recipe, remember this is going into a sandwich, right? So you're thinking of tuna salad. It's kind of like that, but we're using imitation crab. So however the texture is of your tuna salad, that's the texture you want of this, because it's going to be most appealing to you. And the way we're going to achieve that texture is by using your softened cream cheese and your mayo. If you have non-fat plain Greek yogurt, you can use that too. And you can use any combination. So maybe you want more cream cheese. Maybe you want more mayo. Maybe you want more yogurt, which is in my fridge right now. But I'm going to be using both of these. And you really get to use however much you want. So, Alyssa, do you need me to give you some guidelines? Do you want to just start jumping in and see where it ends up?
So I have my cream cheese ready. Do I put the whole shebang in the bowl?
So let me ask you this. Do you like a sturdier crab salad, or do you want one that's a little looser?
I like it a little loose, so I want it falling out of my sandwich. You know what I mean?
So, yes. Yes. Perfect. So I would start with half.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm grabbing my scissors.
Okay.
Because you can always add more if you need to, but you can't take it out, you know?
Right.
I'm going to add half too, so I can kind of see where you are. Yes.
So while you ladies are actually doing that, as Jan mentioned, it's Fil-Am History Month, and we're talking a little bit about our heritage and all that good stuff. But since the last time we talked, we were talking about diversity. And then, as you all know, diversity just seems to be like the it word right now, where everybody's promoting it. But I guess, Black Lives Matter, COVID, what were you all doing to promote diversity, you know, within your communities or just in your workplaces?
Yeah, so I'll jump in, Alyssa, if you want me to. And before I answer, I'll give us a little bit of a prompt of where we're going. We can go ahead and mix the crab and the cream cheese. If it seems a little tight, that's where you want to add your mayo or your yogurt or whatever you have, okay? So that's what we'll do while I answer the question. Sound good?
Yes.
So before COVID hit, I was still doing some book tour appearances and cooking demonstrations. And I have always found that I can incorporate my story of diversity with food. It's just always been the magic for me. You know, I tell the story in Asian Girl in Southern World about how people didn't really know what I was. I got the question, what are you, a lot? And nobody even really knew where the Philippines was. You know, the people didn't talk about the Philippines. People heard of Hawaii. People heard of Japan. People heard of Indians, but nobody really talked about the Philippines. It just wasn't, you know, in the common everyday vernacular. So I really was a mystery to a lot of people there. But whenever I started bringing my mom's lumpia potluck and to church, that's when everything changed for our family. Lumpia saved my social structure of my family. Thank God for lumpia, right? Because, I mean, do you know anybody who doesn't like lumpia, do you? I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like lumpia. But that's what I was doing before. Is I was just doing what I am right now, going on tour, making appearances, and really trying to find places in my community as well. Even if it wasn't, you know, anything I promoted on Instagram or anything, just sometimes talking to your neighbor, just explaining to people who you are, inviting people over for dinner. To me, just those real life applicable things that we can do, that's the best way to share who you are and your culture, because when people love you, they're going to love where you're from. They're going to love your culture, you know, if you're representing your people well.
Absolutely. How are you doing over there, boss lady?
I'm doing good. I am mixing away. But, you know, when I think about diversity, you know, the journey has really been since the beginning, right? If you really think about who we are as a people, to Dalena's point, I would get that question too, right? A lot of people didn't know what the Filipino culture was or what a Filipino person even looked like, and so often would get confused with other Asian nationalities. And so after a while, it just sort of became a game growing up in grade school and high school. You know, people would like to guess, and then when you tell them you're Filipino, it's like, oh, well, what is that? And so you get to, share. I would share the culture, traditions. That was a big one. And, when friends would come over, my mom served the best meals in the house, very similar to Dalena, right? And because it was different and it was something that people really enjoyed. And so when I think about how I promoted it in the workplace, one, being a part of Faces has been huge because through our community, right, through our employee group, we've been able to really create activities and events that people could participate in. And it's come as you are, everyone is welcome. Learn about our culture, and frankly, we're going to ask you about yours because we want to learn about you too, right? And so just the dialogue has been great. And then having that trickle into the different departments throughout the company, and I'll speak specifically to retail. A lot of times we get stuck in our own silos and in our own world because we're all really busy at work. But with Faces SoCal events and Faces events, when people come together, you're actually able to just get to know the people that you work with on a personal level, as well as people you would never interact with within the company coming to these networking events. And so, I think it's been something that I've enjoyed. And over time, I've also found it to be a huge responsibility because diversity is so critical, really in anything we do, whether it's personal or professional. And so I feel like it's a gift that we all have to really drive diversity, encourage it, and really be an advocate for it.
So my question to you, Dalena, is so being Filipino American, what, in addition to the food and sharing our culture that way, what other ways would you recommend, or if there's been opportunities for you to share your heritage in other ways?
Sure. So I also work a corporate job in addition to my cooking and my writing. I have a normal 9-to-5 job at a very big tech company. And for me, I've always felt like I needed to be the best at whatever it was I was doing, the best I could be at it. And maybe when you're down on the totem pole, maybe that's not that big of a deal because everybody's trying to strive for the top, everybody's trying to get up there. So everybody's trying to do the best that they can do. But what I saw, and this is throughout my whole life, not just in this environment, but throughout my whole life, when you provide that consistency of putting out good work products, and you provide that consistency of being reliable, and you provide that consistency of being easy to work with, people start asking questions. They'll just start asking, well, yeah, I've heard about Dalena. Oh, yeah, I've heard she can do this project. Where is she from anyway? And it just starts happening. You almost don't always have to force it. People will be interested in you if you are consistent and you make them feel welcome and you just really care about your work product. It's just something that's always happened. I've never had to force it. People just always end up asking. And so I would say that is the next thing. Other than my cooking and writing, it's just in those day-to-day actions of being reliable and consistent, and then people eventually want to know who you are and what makes you different from everybody else. Like, how is she able to do this? And then that's when there's an opportunity to say, oh, I'm from Tennessee. My mom's from the Philippines. She was a first-generation immigrant. I'm the first one in our family to go to college, like in my household. And then those conversations come up, and then it always turns to food again because that's what.
Just like right. Now. How are you ladies doing with your food? I want to see. I'm still getting hungry just looking at you.
So I think I've got a good mix here. I've got a good mix now.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next step.
The next step is adding your seasoning. So I gave you some suggestions in the recipes list that I sent over yesterday. But again, just think about tuna salad. Think about if somebody was to hand you a yummy sandwich, what would you want it to taste like? You know if you like black pepper. You know if you like garlic. You know if you like onions. So I just pulled out whatever sounded good in my spice rack, and I just started sprinkling in. And whenever I do cooking demonstrations, people think I'm so funny because I'm like a true Filipino. I don't measure. I don't have any idea the difference in a teaspoon and a tablespoon. I have measurements like, you want to put enough onion powder as if you were baking your under-eye concealer.
And, you know, I can totally relate to that. I know exactly how much that is.
Yeah, look.
Exactly how much I
As
put.
much as she needs, right there. I see you. I see you guys.
Hey, we're Filipino. I'm putting garlic powder in everything.
Girl, I gotta buy the Big Daddy jug. I can't deal with that little bitty baby, whatever.
Garlic powder, garlic, it all goes in there, right? Like
It all goes in there. And then that's basically it. We can taste it to make sure your seasonings are right and you can adjust it, but this is the filling part. I need to get a spoon.
And I was going to mention, so for our viewers who are going to be watching this at the watch party, we're going to include the recipe, of course, after Dalena's approval and her blessing. We're going to share the recipe. How's it?
Well, I think I've outdone myself.
I can't wait. It looks so good. I'm hungry.
It's not hard.
No,
It's not hard.
It's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it's not hard. And the thing is, you can really customize it again. You know, if somebody doesn't like cream cheese, if they don't like yogurt, there's so many different ways to bind it. It's not like one of those dishes where if you don't do it exactly this way, it's just going to fail. You know, you almost can't mess it up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get out our cucumber and we're just going to slice some slices. We're going to end up putting that on the sandwich. And you want a couple of extra slices. And Alyssa, we're going to cut them into perfect circles. So sometimes, you know, in Filipino food, we'll cut it on the bias or on a slant. We just want to do these in circles.
Okay.
There's a reason for that we'll talk about later.
So is that to take the place of pickles? Because that sounds delicious.
Yeah, and if you wanted to put pickle, put pickle. You know, but I just thought soft bread, soft crab salad, we need some crunch. What can we use for crunch, you know?
Right,
and then we're just going to put these on there plain, but if you wanted to put them in a bowl, add a little vinegar, pepper, garlic, we put garlic on everything like we just said, do that, you know?
Pickles.
I feel like
perfect.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Perfect to change out a pickle because I don't like them, and it still gives you the crunch. So that's so smart. I like it.
Yeah.
Alyssa, I was going to ask you. So, you know, prepping this meal and all, who would be your dream dinner guest that you could talk to, dead or alive? You could talk to anybody. Who would it be?
Frankly, I would love to have dinner with Oprah Winfrey. Like, who wouldn't, right? I mean, you just think about her body of work, the number of people that she's interviewed over the years, the people she's helped over the years with the different things that she's done. And she just seems really cool to hang out with. And I'd love to have dinner with her at her house.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that one, dude.
Yeah.
Oprah, if you're listening, Oprah, we think we could improve your body of work in the Filipino area, and you might be able to do that by inviting Alyssa to your house. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm on my way to Montecito so I'll be ready for the call.
How about you, Dalena? Who would be your dream dinner guest?
I love this question. And it changes. So if you ask me in 6 months again, it might be someone different. But there is this lady in the Bible, and her name is Esther. And she ends up marrying a very mean king. And this is Old Testament, okay? And I don't read my Bible every day, so don't ask me for scripture or anything like that. But I do love that book. But something about that book where they talk about Esther that has always frustrated me is they talk about how before she could meet the king, she had to go through I think it was 12 months of beauty rituals. 12 months. First of all, she won a beauty pageant to even be considered to be his wife. Then, after she was already beautiful and won the pageant, then she had to go through another 12 months of beauty rituals. But they don't tell us what they were. I want to know what it was that they were doing back in those Bible days that improved their beauty so much that it was worth investing 12 months' time. Because in my mind, everybody was they didn't have shoes, they were walking around in dirt, they just had olive oil, and they just what were they doing? But it says that there was a notable change between when she won the pageant and when she met the king, that there was a difference. And I just want to know what it was. I just feel like they didn't give us enough detail.
What is that secret?
Esther, what was the secret, Esther? We got to know.
Oh my God, I love that. I love it.
I just want to know.
Now I want to know.
We need to know because now I feel like we have so much more available to us, but whatever they were doing back then, I think was probably more effective.
Mm-hmm.
And it was natural, I just want to know because the chances are it's probably stuff we're dealing with on a day-to-day and we don't even know to use it that way, Yep. So I just feel like I want to ask her, what'd you do for those 12 months? Did they make you run? Did you have to do push-ups? Were they cinching your waist? What were they doing? What were they making you do? I just want to know. Alyssa, we also want to slice our tomato for a sandwich however you want to do it. Any way you do it, it's perfect. You can't mess it up.
Yeah.
Watch your digits for sure.
What would you cook for your dream guest now? What would be the dish that you would cook? And
I'll let Alyssa go first. She answers first, so I feel like it's her turn.
I got to tell you,
Alyssa, so you could phone her mama.
Look,
that's what I would do.
We're going to get, since it's Fil-Am, Filipino History Month, right? I would love to have my guest, Oprah, come on over. You can come to my house, right? And I'll make you some palabok and adobo. That's a little easier, but palabok has so much flavor, right? And with a little bit of shrimp on top, the garlic crumbles. Yes, Jan, that's right. So palabok, adobo, and fresh lumpia. I love fresh lumpia, and all really good, and will just kind of really excite your taste buds in many different ways with those dishes.
Dude, Oprah would kill it. She'd love it.
Yeah.
She'd love it.
What would you make, Dalena? I feel like you'd make this extravagant 7-course meal or something.
Oh my gosh, I would, but it would be all dessert because they kept her on a diet. So I would hollow let you fly, just sticky coconut rice with mango wrapped in banana leaves. Because really, she really wasn't able to. She lived a life where she wasn't able to indulge like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say, you did well. Here's all this delicious stuff that you probably weren't allowed to eat. I'm just guessing, but I have a real strong feeling I'm right.
I got to tell you, that is probably a great way to describe a cheat day like no other. Filipino desserts all on the table.
Exactly. That's what I would want to have with her, a girl date.
Yeah.
Girl, I know you had to be with that king, and they put you through all of that, and you couldn't eat everything. Here's all this good food. Let's talk about what you did at the spa. That's what I wanted. That's what I would do. So let me know when you have your tomato and your cucumber done.
I am cut. I am ready to go. I've sliced my hoagie. I saw you had yours
Perfect.
in your hand. So
Perfect.
I sliced my hoagie.
Yep.
Can we see your guys' like station so I can see what we're
Sure.
looking at now? Because it
Yep,
sounds
I'll show you.
delicious.
Well,
So I'm angling. So this is just,
Ooh.
this is my cucumber, my tomato. This is my mixed crab salad here.
yeah, so I'll just lift mine up since I'm like a mile away. But here are my veggies, my tomatoes and my cucumber. And I've got my crab salad in a with a very healthy portion.
Perfect.
Yes.
So good.
So I just want to throw a couple of things out there before we assemble. If we were working under different circumstances, you could bread and toast your bun.
Mm-hmm.
You could season your cucumbers. There are things you can do to make this a little bit more elaborate if we needed to, right? So again, this is something that you can adjust based on how much time you have available to you and what your resources are. But this is just our, our cold, put it together on the counter, fresh in the middle of the day, cool, fresh, fall, yummy crab sandwich. And then I'm going to show you the dragon card, okay? So let's assemble, Alyssa. Let's put as much of the crab salad that you want in the bun, right?
I am loading it up. Oh, let me get back in here.
I'm loading it up too.
Okay, that looks so good. Holy moly. I should have ate lunch before this call.
I think imitation crab is underused. I think we forget about it, especially if we are, we're legit Filipinos. I want to tear it open with my hands and fill the head up with rice and pour soy sauce on it, eat the brains out, and then my friends get all freaked out, and I'm just like, whatever, but that's how I roll with crab. So I don't always think about the instant version, but it's a fun change, right? And then you just want to put in your cucumbers and tomatoes, however it looks delicious to you, Alyssa. So I'm putting my cucumbers in. Whoops, let me put it up a little bit. So I'm going, my cucumbers are big, so we're doing 3. I'm also adding tomato. If you don't like tomato, don't add the tomato. So this is where we are. Okay, and then from here, this is just me, but from here I would put hot sauce on it because I like hot sauce. So let me go get it.
Well, since you mentioned hot sauce, I was ready. I was thinking the same thing.
Yay, hot sauce. Okay, so what kind of hot sauce do you use, Alyssa?
You know what? Honestly, I like Red Rooster. There is just something about that hot sauce that is just really flavorful to me.
I love that one too.
What do you use?
Today I have this one. It's called Crystal. It's really big in the South. Have you had this one?
Yes, Crystal's is good.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold it up so y'all can see. So I'm specifically putting it on the crab part.
Well,
so there's that.
Looks prettier than mine, but I'm going to eat mine nonetheless.
Good. Have y'all heard of Ugly Delicious? It's a thing.
No, but that sounds like my cooking.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing. If you go to any of your social media and type in #UglyDelicious, you'll see it. And there's all kinds of stuff. It's people talking about how delicious a lot of food is even when it's ugly. So, Alyssa, if you were making this for a kid, obviously we would leave off the hot sauce if they didn't like the hot sauce. But what we would do, and if you want to go ahead and eat yours, you can, but I'll show you the dragon part on mine. It's just a decoration. If you want to do it with me, you can. And if not, that's fine too. But I'm going to show you how to turn your sandwich into a dragon.
Okay.
Okay. So very
simple.
Do you have your black olives?
I do.
Okay. I'm opening my can. I should first. So I'm opening, and I'm just getting 2 of them out, Alyssa. So I made you buy a whole can of olives for 2 olives.
Okay, for 2 olives, I got it.
So I'm getting 2 out. And then on your sandwich, what you want to do, which my cucumbers are kind of big, but you would just decorate it by putting a cucumber there and a cucumber, whoop, whoop. So the cucumbers would be the eyes. So I'm actually going to get 2 toothpicks to force them to stay. Hold on just a second.
Let's see yours, Alyssa. I want to see.
Well, I'm not going to do the dragon because I don't have toothpicks and my cucumber's too big. And frankly, I'm staring at this thing like I want to dig in.
That looks
so the
so
dragon
good. That looks so good.
Okay,
yours
I'm
is like
showing you.
stacked with some crabs.
Oh, so
you see how there's a face?
Like a dragon.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you take a red bell pepper and you cut a strip in the shape of like a tongue, like a dragon tongue, and then you place it on the front, and that's your dragon face.
That is too cute.
So that's, you know, if you're doing it for the kids and you need a little Halloween thing, but now if it's just me, I'm not doing all this. I'm just eating it.
Right.
Bye,
So
boss
good
lady.
to talk with you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is true life. So, as you can see, both ladies are truly the boss ladies. They have other jobs, as Dalena was mentioning prior. So, we all have 9 to 5s or 9 to 6:30s, however you want to call it. But we're going to continue on with Dalena because we have this delicious dessert that we want to go into with her. And also at our watch party, like we mentioned, we'll go ahead and provide you all the ingredients and the recipe that you'll need to create this on your own. And for our special viewers, we're actually going to be raffling off Dalena's books. So, and some other Faces prizes. So right now we're going to take it into segment 2, which we're going to start talking about the dessert portion. So, Dalena, I'm going to go ahead and kick it back over to you. Let's get started on this dessert.
So I love this dessert because, again, for Halloween, it's fun for the kids, but it's just a fruit salad. It's just a way of taking something we probably all have or have a version of and just adjusting it a little bit for the holidays. I love that it doesn't require any super special attention. It's basically what we call in the South a dump and stir, which means you're just opening things up and mixing it together. You're dumping it, and then you're stirring it up. And so that's what we're going to do.
All right, let's get started.
Sound good? Okay. So I'm just going to get a bowl.
Now, has there ever been a time that you've done a recipe that didn't go right?
You know, I think if you're a real cook, if you're really, really cooking, then you have those stories. People who say they've never messed up, nothing has ever gone wrong, I'm always like, then you're probably not cooking very much. Because it just happens. Stuff happens. And, you know, some of the best recipes that we know are accidents that people decided that they like, you know? Even probably in your family, you can probably think of somebody right now that does something a little bit like non-traditional in terms of the way they like to eat something. I used to treat lumpia as an entree. If it was a side, I would treat it as an entree and put it with rice and soy sauce. And to me, I'm good. But I've had people see me do that before that said, "You're eating that with rice?" I'm like, it goes with rice. It belongs with rice. It's soulmates with rice.
I had that same look from Jan. I told her I created tofu adobo. I've been trying to get around like red meat, like getting rid of the porks, the beef, and even a little bit of chicken.
Sure.
So I tried it with tofu, and it actually turned out pretty good. So yeah, tofu adobo.
Yeah, and you know, did you grill it or anything before, or did you just put it in?
I did. I could.
Oh.
You have to have extra firm for that one too. And so yeah, definitely grill it so it has a little bit of consistency. But introducing back the chicken flavor, that was the hard part. So yeah.
Oh, I see.
So what you got over there?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to grab a couple of things from the fridge. It's just going to be a second, but I'm right here. Can you hear?
How about you, Jan? Anything that you've ever created that was just kind of a miss?
Well, like she said, I mean, it's always, if you're trying something new, it's always, I hope it tastes good. But I'm not very picky, so I know how to make it taste good the way that I like it. So I don't know if you, Judy, would have liked it, but I'm like, I'm going to add some pepper. I'm going to add some, some onions. I'm going to add a little bit of meat here or some cheese. And cheese always, I mean, you can put cheese on anything. So, it'll mask it a little bit. Add some bread, yeah. So,
in my head, I'm a constant version of chopped. So I was like, okay, what can I make today?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So back to the professional. So what are we doing now, Dalena?
What are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Let me see.
So what I'm opening up my cottage cheese. Of course, you can get whatever kind if you want the full fat or the fat-free. And I'm going to open up my whipped topping. We're going to be using both of these as the base. And then what we're going to be stirring in is the crushed pineapple that I started to drain earlier in the show. And then we're going to also sprinkle in some strawberry jello.
Oh.
And then we'll fold in our unsweetened coconut flakes. That'll be it. And after that, we just sort of shape it into whatever shape we want.
A brain? Oh, no.
And I'm just going to be dumping. What?
I was going to say, in true Filipino fashion, you're going to save those containers later, right? And we're going to reuse them for, like, other things.
Tupperware?
Yeah, Tupperware. See, you knew what we were talking about.
She's Filipino, she knows.
I'm in the family. I know about it.
So are you putting it in the bowl that was being drained? What bowl? I can't see. I'm sorry. What bowl are you putting that in?
Sure, no problem. I did switch out my bowls because I wanted more room to mix. Okay. So originally this was being drained, but then I removed the juice so that it's just a dry bowl. And now I'm using the same bowl, but you don't want to add it to the juice. You want to add it to a bowl.
Okay, that's what I was like. Oh, okay.
Good question. And now, let me see. Okay, if I here.
Yeah, that's
now
good. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm adding about half of the pineapple into the bowl with the cottage cheese. And this is a 32-ounce cottage cheese, and I only used about half of it. And then we're going to open up the Cool Whip. And again, this stuff, customize it the way you want. So if you don't like Cool Whip so much, maybe you don't use it. Oh, let me use my trash bowl. If you only want to use some, that's fine. One of the biggest mistakes I used to make in the kitchen was I thought it was so important to follow recipes down to the tiniest little thing. When I knew I didn't eat that way. Like Jan was saying, you get a plate of food and then you customize it, right? You want some hot peppers, you want some soy sauce, you want to sprinkle something on there. That's kind of what we do as Filipinos. We love our dips and our sauces.
Sauces.
So use that same frame of mind whenever you're cooking or whenever you're making something. Just go with what feels right, what looks right. Don't worry so much about the measurements. So I'm adding the Cool Whip now.
So this is how I kind of cook. This is what I'm like, okay, I need this, I need that. Let me taste it. Okay, that looks good. Let me add a little more. So I love this, that you're like, do it the way you want, because that's what you're going to eat it. You want it to taste the way you like it. So, and luckily And luckily for my kids, they don't have a choice, so they like it. So
that's right.
And then growing up in a Filipino household, they didn't have recipes either. They just did it by sight and touch. My mom saw a little bit of this, and I was like, I know this old lady's holding out on me because mine does not taste anything like hers, So it's just how she knows. And, there's no measuring.
you just improvise with what you have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
With what,
So
like you said, you,
next? Oh,
this is the Jell-O.
okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna kind of get close for this because this is kind of the magic. So I'm gonna sprinkle this in.
Oh my God, my kids would have loved that when they were little. Oh, how cute is that?
And I love that now. I love that now.
And it actually gives it, a strawberry flavor. I mean, it's really good.
Oh, there you go.
That
It's starting to look like brain.
Smart.
It's starting to look like brain.
Starting to look brainy.
My girl is totally into that stuff. So.
I'm so into everything festive, and we know when we launch this for our watch party, I'm gonna have it. So I have this to eat.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Some.
Yeah.
Judy, make me some. I want some.
Y'all can come to my house.
Yeah, we live 45 minutes apart, so look at how good that looks. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
Now I'm doing
You didn't have lunch?
Coconut.
No lunch.
Okay. I love coconut.
I love it too. And this gives it some texture, You
said unsweetened, right?
I do.
That's good. Because the Jell-O probably made it a little bit sweeter, so that just gives, like you said, the texture and the coconut flavor. Yum.
Yes. And I've even seen where people, if they don't have crushed pineapple, they drain a can of fruit cocktail, or they chop up fresh berries. Again, it's just whatever you have, and it's however you want it to be. So I love coconut, so I'm just going to add more. I'm going to add more to it.
There you go. I'm going to dump the whole thing in. Just dump the whole thing in.
No.
I'm kidding. We can bring some coconut. Now, most people don't know, but in the Philippines, I guess old school Philippines, they didn't celebrate Halloween. It was more of an American thing to do. So when I was growing up, my mom, we had like makeshift like Halloween costumes at first, like, and then eventually you went to the Navy Exchange and you got like these cool costumes. But Dalena, I guess growing up, you guys participated in Halloween, right?
In Tennessee?
Like she did grow up with a Filipino mom, so some of them didn't. I'm so dumbfounded by hearing stuff like that, saying that people didn't celebrate Halloween, and they're like, "Oh, we don't do that in the Philippines, so it's not here." But did you?
Well, we got to go trick or treating, but my mom was not about to buy a Halloween costume. So it was always like, "I'll fix your hair. We'll put some stuff in it. You wear your pants with one leg up. You put one glove in. You're Madonna. You're Madonna." Okay, that's fine. I'll be Madonna. There were a couple of Halloweens where my cousins were involved, and so for that they tried to plan it a little bit better, like braided my hair, and I was Raggedy Ann. I think I had this exact shirt on.
But honestly, Judy, that is the truth. Like there was 5 of us, and that's we used a sheet. We dressed up as nerds, like whatever we had on it. My parents, we're not spending money on a costume. What is that noise?
No. Why spend money when you have your imagination, and then if you spend money on the costume, it's like the candy's not even free.
Yeah, right?
Right?
It's like, why are you getting candy? You have to spend money. Yeah, that is so funny.
Exactly.
Filipino moms, they're crazy. Although with my kids, I did the same thing. I never bought costumes. Like I'm just like, you can be a basketball player. You can be, they played sports. You can be a volleyball player.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, my kid's off. She wanted to be Ruby. It was one of those.
I know who Ruby is. Anime.
And so I bought. What the heck is $75?
Wow, that's expensive.
I'll buy you candy.
I'll buy you candy for $75. But that's cosplay, because although it's not anime, because it was it was drawn in America. It's not, but that's cosplay because those are expensive. You're a nice mom. Yeah, mine's basketball shorts. You have a uniform. Go put that on.
Look what Dalena's doing. What did you put in the bowl?
So I just shaped this stuff in a bowl, and now it looks gross, and that's the point.
It looks like brains.
Listen, it's a brain. This is a Halloween cooking show. It's a brain. When you're taking it to Easter, don't do this. Just don't do this part, okay? This is the Halloween part of this. So you just put it in a bowl and kind of shape it in the shape of the brain, and then you just have your gummy worms, and you stick it in there, stick some in there, and then all the kids come over, and they look at it, and they go, ew, and then you're awesome, and that's what it is. And, as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking, how am I going to take a picture? I don't think I can put this on social media and say, I'm a fancy chef. Look at my brains and worms. I don't think I can do it. The point is for it to look like brains and worms.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
I love it.
Ooh.
My 12-year-old is gonna love it. Don't take it to the cooking competition. Y'all promise me, okay? That's not what
you've taken all this time. That was great. That was totally great. Oh, yeah.
What an inventive way of making a fruit salad. Like, that is amazing. Like, I'm amazed right now. Like, wow.
Really?
Yeah, because you just
so
put stuff
simple
together and it looks so inventive, and it's gonna. I can't wait to taste it. Judy, you gotta make us some. I can't wait to taste it. It looks delicious. Man, thank you so much.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the creativity that comes from Chef Dalena Benavente. And as we mentioned before, she has a book. So it's been out for a while. Everybody go and read it. I swear, you won't regret it. In addition to reading about all these great recipes, it's also full of poems, and also some of Dalena's experiences growing up in the Deep South. And so it's still relevant with today's issues that are going on in the world. We have an election that's coming up. And so there's a lot of animosity and I guess questions about where are we going as a country, as well as if we're all equal. And so I think Dalena mentioned it and said it best last time, that food is the biggest equalizer or the greatest equalizer, and that is so true. And so, Dalena, I just wanted to say thank you again for spending your time with us, where she's created, ladies and gentlemen, what did we just watch? We saw a dragon crab roll, and what did we call this one? It was a brainy...
brains and worms fruit salad.
Brains and worms fruit salad. And so I'm hoping that you all enjoyed Dalena again, because she's always been such a pleasure to interview, as well as with Alyssa Moore, our VPGM here at AT&T. But with that, I didn't want to take up too much more of your time, but is there anything that you want to close out for us folks here at AT&T? And since we're going to be broadcasting this pretty much to the Fil-Am community within the U.S., is there any message that you wanted to say out or send to us, Dalena?
Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all so much for having me again. I really have fallen in love with all of y'all. I love following you on social media and seeing what you're doing. And I love that you're just so far ahead of the curve right now in terms of diversity within corporations. It's something that a lot of corporations are just trying to catch up to, and you guys are already there and established and bringing people in, and it's such an important thing to do, to acknowledge diversity in the workspace, especially corporate America that controls so much of our government and our narrative. And, there's just we could go on and on about that. But the fact that you guys are doing it is just so, so special. And please remember to go vote. I don't care who you vote for, but use your voice and go vote. And also, in this very polarizing political time, if you find someone who doesn't agree the same as you do, please try to open your heart, extend humanity to your fellow American, and be kind and show love and dignity and be civil. We are the ones in charge of increasing the level of love that's in the planet right now, because nobody is going to do that for us. Nobody's going to hand that to us on a silver platter. So we have to do that where we can as individuals to each other. So thank you so much. And thank you for showing me love today. And I hope you feel the same too.
Thank you so much. And one last time, what is that website, or not the website, the Facebook group that you created specifically for talking about issues like this?
Yes, it's called A Racially Safe Space. And now it's almost 700 people strong. There are Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Black Lives Matter, and Antifa, and everybody is nice. We all get along. We talk about our different beliefs, and we are civil. We don't name call, insult, put each other down. We acknowledge everybody is human to human, and we show love and respect to each other. And if you need a political place to go that is safe, no matter what you believe, and you have questions for people who don't believe the same as you, you can join that group. I'll be happy to admit you in, and people will explain, you know, what their thought process is, and you may get some questions too and have an opportunity to say why you believe what you do.
Amazing.
Without being insulted.
Amazing.
Without being insulted. Yeah.
Thank you, Dalena. All right, so wanted to say thank you again, and Jan Jarkey as well as Lila Pablo-Chung, thank you very much for being co-moderators for this. Alyssa Moore, who had to hop off for one of her calls, wanted to say thank you to her as well for her participation. And again, everybody, happy Filipino American History Month, as well as make sure to go out and vote. Like Dalena said, your vote is secure. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Dalena.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Your party is ready.